Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We begin in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. In this segment, we will address the second argument that was brought forward to dilute the clarity of the Quran and to create confusion or complication about it. So it was said that Arabic is a very diverse language and it has very many different schools of grammar. And the book of Dr. Shawqi Daif, entitled Al-Madaris al-Nahawiyya, the grammatical schools, was cited. And this book traces the history of Arabic grammar and talks about the development and emergence of different schools of Arabic grammar. And so somehow the impression, the false impression that people are trying to create is that because there is so much difference of opinion and diversity in Arabic grammar, that should serve as an indication that Arabic isn't a clear language. No, my dear, the differences of the grammarians do not detract from the clarity of the Arabic language. Because, and this is something only someone who has really studied Arabic grammar in depth would understand, not someone who's just read a few books from here and there and is trying to piece together what was happening. If you go deep into Arabic grammar, you will realize what the grammarians actually differed over was things like this. See, there are aspects of Arabic which they're all united on, and there is no disagreement over those. Okay, now if I go into the technicality and try to explain to you exactly what's going on, non-specialists will not understand, they'll tune out. So let me give you an example, an analogy, and help you understand this whole thing with an analogy. See, it's like all grammarians of Arabic are united, or all people with common sense would be united that the coat I'm wearing right now is black. There's no difference of opinion on this. Okay, the difference of opinion exists over why I am wearing a black coat. So most of the differences in Arabic grammar are on ta'lil, on explaining grammatical phenomena. Why is this word carrying this particular i'rab, and why is this rule applicable here but not over there? Okay, so it's on the whys that the grammarians differed. So to continue with this example, they're not differing over the fact that I'm wearing a black coat. This they have unanimity over. What they will differ over is why is he wearing the black coat. So for example, the school of Kufa will come forward and say, well, he's wearing a black coat, and they're applying reason here, logic. They'll say he's wearing a black coat because perhaps it's reasonable to postulate and to suggest that he's wearing a black coat because he's just returned from a funeral. It's common for people to wear black at funerals. So it's possible and it's plausible that he's wearing black, most likely because he had gone to a funeral. That's one theory. Okay, and the school of Basra, their representatives may step forward and say, no, this is wrong. He's not wearing a black coat because he's coming back from a funeral. Do you know why? Because we have a photograph of him at a wedding ceremony where he was also wearing black. So if in his eyes black was something that was only associated with mourning and sadness, then what was he doing wearing a black coat at a wedding? So no, you Kufans are wrong. Black is not associated only with mourning, so that you should be able to definitively say that if he's wearing black, he probably, was at a funeral. No, there could be some other reason as well. And in this case, we believe that, let's say he's wearing black because he returned from a wedding, and our proof is that we have a photograph of a previous wedding that he attended that he was wearing black in. So this is our argument. And at the end of the day, because these are logical arguments, they could both be wrong or one of them could be right, but at the end of the day, it does not change the fact that the coat that I'm wearing is black. Okay, and the fact that people are differing over the reasoning behind and the rationale behind why I'm dressed in black does not change the clarity of what you see here. You cannot start doubting your vision and say that, you know what, now I'm confused. I don't really know if he's wearing black or not, because the grammarians are differing. One is saying, Baba, they're differing over something else. They're differing over why, not over what. They're all agreed that what I'm wearing is black. They're differing over the why. Same thing as far as the Quran is concerned and its Arabic is concerned and the grammatical aspects are concerned. The differences among the grammarians were on ta'leel, reasoning. Why is this like this? But overall, it's not that the meanings of the Quran were something that the grammarians, like, the school of Kufa were saying, for example, that, the Quran does promote belief in the hereafter, and the school of Basra are saying, no, the Quran does not promote belief in the hereafter. Or, to make it more relevant, it's not that the school of Basra was saying that Abu Lahab means Abu Lahab, the uncle of the Prophet, and the school of Basra or some other school was saying, no, it means Fir'aun. No. These kinds of differences were impossible, inconceivable. Everyone knew who Abu Lahab was. Okay? Everyone knew when Allah says, He uses the word ard in the Quran, everyone knew what that was. When Allah uses Ismail in the Quran, everyone knew what that was. These things were never an issue of difference. What these Batini people are doing is they see people arguing over why I'm wearing black, and they use that difference of opinion to create confusion about the very fact that I'm wearing black. So they want to say that because two people are fighting with each other as to why I'm wearing black, one is saying because he's been to a wedding, the other is saying because he's been to a funeral, they say, you know what? Wedding, funeral, leave that out. He's not wearing black in the first place. He's not wearing black, but the black is very clear. Say, no. The fact that two people are fighting over it means he's not wearing black. Baba, the fact that two people are fighting, look at what they're fighting over. They're fighting over why I'm wearing the black, not the fact that I'm wearing black. So in any case, look, you need to understand Batini people and people who support Batini Tafseer do not like the Quran the way it stands, the way it has been understood for 14 centuries by so many thousands, billions of Muslims. They just don't like that version of the Quran. They don't like the message of the Quran, and so they will join heaven and earth. They will try to create as much complications, as much confusion as they possibly can. They will bring you all kinds of evidence to confuse you into thinking that, well, because people are differing, because there are different kinds of Arabic, different dialects, different schools of grammar, so all of that makes the Quran extremely unclear and confusing, to the point that for 14 centuries no one understood it, and now for the very first time in the 15th century there is finally someone who can actually understand it. Well, that is all completely nonsensical. It absolutely makes no sense. No language works like this. Every language, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make Arabic a language that does not have parallels with other languages. Every argument they bring to you against the clarity of Arabic can work against the clarity of English. Okay, everything that they're using to prove that the Arabic of the Quran is not clear, I can use that argument because it applies to English as well. But despite it applying to the English language, so for example, does English not have different dialects? Does it not have diversity and variety? It has. Despite its diversity and variety, is it not clear? When I speak right now, can every English speaker in the world not understand me? They can understand me. Same thing applies to the Quran. The Quran was revealed at a time when Arabs had different dialects, but despite all those differences, it was still understood. Just as how when we speak English today, so many different people from different backgrounds, from different regions are able to understand it. Same thing applies to the Quran. English has differences in grammar. Different grammarians of English will differ over the nitty-gritties and nuances. Arabic also has different schools of grammar. None of that changes the fact that the Quran is still a very simple, clear and easy to understand book. Its message of guidance is very clear. It has always been clear for the last 14 centuries. What these people are trying to do is cancel the message of the Quran, which has been understood so clearly for the last 14 centuries, and introduce baseless complications and baseless claims for which there exists no proof in the language of the Arabs. They want to overrule and cancel the actual Quran that Allah revealed, and they want to replace it with a Quran that makes sense to them. Well, the Quran is not obligated to make sense to you today in the 21st century. The Quran is revealed by the creator of logic, and he demands that we submit to his logic and not use our logic to question and challenge his logic. That is the path of Iblis. When Iblis was commanded by Allah to perform sajda to Adam, he applied logic to say, this doesn't make sense to me. I'm superior, I'm made of fire, he's made of clay. God said, well, when I give commands, you don't apply logic like that. And if you do, you get expelled from the domain of mercy and you get cast out. And so God is also okay with that. Anyone who wants to choose rebellion as a path, God says they're free to do so, but they must remember that there will be dire and deleterious consequences awaiting them in the hereafter. It's as simple as that. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing. Also click the bell icon and choose the all option to get notified for upcoming videos automatically.